Do you agree with Texas jumping Ohio State for number 2 in the AP Top 25 poll?
Chip, we never challenge you on this stuff because I think you are the only one who's like, all right, if they get a couple of these 6th place votes converted up to 1st place votes or 2nd place votes, like they're going to make, like, you got it on lock. Anybody who questions Chip Patterson with the poll stuff is dumb. I don't really, I mean, do I agree with it? Texas has a much more impressive win than Ohio State does.
Right.
Would I take Texas to beat Ohio State right now? No, I would not. That's kind of my stance on it. Like, would I confidently?
It's a good stance. It's a week 2 ranking, you know?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. We should reward teams and guys who have played well. So,
and we should punish those that don't. Like, that's what I like. I have zero problem whatsoever with Texas being Ohio State. I had Ohio State lower than, I think, Penn State even. And Penn State fans or Ohio State fans were furious. They were like, well, I do a resume-based poll. In 4 or 5 weeks in the season when you've all played some Power 5 teams and you can go out and look as good as you have against these nobodies, then yeah, you'll jump right back to the top, which is where I wish it would everyone think the way I do. Clearly, people have their own mindsets and they want to look right at the end of the season. So maybe they do keep Ohio State up there because they predicted them to win there, but fluctuate each week based on what information you have. So I prefer the resume-based ranking. So by that, I think Texas is number 2, and I don't think it's close.
Yeah, like I don't mind Texas being at 2. I'm with Bud. I would still have Ohio State 2 the way I do things. But the one problem that I don't know why they got 4 first place votes. If you're comparing, like if you're doing it power rating wise, you're not putting Texas ahead of Georgia. If you're doing it resume wise, is Texas's win over Michigan, a team that didn't look all that good, more impressive than Georgia absolutely decimating Clemson, and then seeing what Clemson did to Appalachian State this weekend. It's like, I still think Georgia has the better win. I still think Georgia has the better power rating. So I don't get the 4 voters who put the Longhorns number 1.
That's fair. I think that there are voters who still had, like, there are still people who have a very, very high opinion of Michigan. And I think that's where.
Didn't they see my announcement? We're writing them off. They're done.
I know. No, it was no more Michigan or no Michigan.
I wrote off Michigan.
Off Michigan and then underlined.
Mm-hmm. That really drove the point home, I thought.
I think that's where you look at the opponent, reigning champion and all. You look at the setting, going into their house and doing it. I was not surprised they caught a couple stray ones, but I think Georgia's still first place. And a great point about what Clemson did. We didn't get a chance to talk about the Tigers very much, but that was quite a statement win for Clemson as well to be able to do that. Let's see. There was Kyle says, is it just me or has the AP poll been more reactionary this year to bad results even when ranked teams win?
That's probably just you.
I just think it's always reactionary in the early first month of the season. You just
I think it should be.
I think small sample size. Yeah.
I think you should react to what we just saw, especially when we've only seen 2 weeks. And then I think as the season goes on, the dust should settle somewhat and you start to kind of come up with a more accurate assessment of where all these teams should fall.
Yeah. I do not mind big swings in terms of the rankings. And like, the CBS Sports 134 went live today, every single team in the country. I mean, we had teams, and it wasn't just the likes of 61 spot for Northern Illinois, but I mean, the spots like 25 to 50. I mean, we tell you on this podcast all the time, the difference between the 26th best team and the 40th best team is very small. And that oftentimes, especially with just a few results, you're going to have big swings. So Syracuse jumps up 40 spots. So South Carolina jumps up 19 spots. Auburn falls 18 spots. You have these spots, these jumps, because we only have but a few results. And between 25 and 50, they're just going to fly up and down all throughout those rankings. Yes,
I mean, I wish they would be more reactionary in some other areas, right? Like, why in the world are Missouri, Ole Miss, and especially Alabama ranked above Tennessee?
Thank you.
Tennessee
totally agree.
Tennessee's looked a lot better than Alabama, like way better. They have had similar results to Ole Miss, except the competition level they have played is a lot better. And they have better results and better competition than Missouri. Like, if you're doing this based off that, Tennessee is pretty clearly team 4 right now. to me.
That's
But Alabama, Ole Miss, and Mizzou
And
started.
why is Missouri and Ole Miss and Alabama ahead of Penn State?
Thank you.
I know Penn State struggled with Bowling Green a little bit, but Bowling Green was my pick to win the MAC. I think they have some real athletes this year and a pretty good G5 team. Bama's in a one-score game with a not a very good USF team pretty late into the stretch, and they're giving up like wide open guys all the time. Like I saw some stuff like, oh, they did a nice job limiting explosives. I'm like, tell me you box score scouted without watching that ball game. USF's got guys running wide open, and Barry and Brown just can't hit them. You know, there's some weird stuff going on there. Why is Clemson behind Notre Dame? Clemson lost.
I don't know. Clemson lost to Georgia, and Notre Dame lost to freaking Northern Illinois at home. And they put it. No, I'm with you.
That game closed 10.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That game closed 10. They lost by 28. Notre Dame closed 28.5 and lost on the field at home.
At home. Yeah.
Do you know why?
If we're going to be that reactionary, why is Notre Dame still ranked at all?
Do you know why, though?
Because A&M.
No, well, it's that too. But I think it's even more so because of the preseason rankings. Because of where you thought they were, where you had them at the beginning of the season. 13 feels like a really big drop, right? You know, and they were, what were they in the preseason? 7, 8? So you kind of had them up there. Last week, you bumped them up even a little bit more. And then you just don't want to throw everything out. Like, that's what I really try to do when I do the top 12 Sunday mornings and people get all fired up. And I'm like, no, I try to go off resumes. I throw out everything I thought based on the first 2 weeks. And I come back and say, all right, where are they now? Like, what did we just see? What did we learn? And I think a lot of AP voters, that's why Ole Miss, Alabama, and Missouri are theirs, because they were preseason, they were top 10, top 15. And so like, well, they didn't lose. So you don't want to drop them. You don't want to penalize them for not losing. So they just stay where they are. By the way, which is how the SEC does the preseason rankings, favor them incredibly because people don't throw them out. And then when they get to the regular season, they start playing each other. It's like, oh, there's 2 top 10. They lost to a top 10 team. And then so you're not willing to ding them as much. So they don't fall that much. It's all a mess.
Say lazy.
Notre Dame is still in the top.
Lazy is right.
12 ballots.
Who has looked better, USC or Bama?
USC. Yeah, it's not even close.
But like I said on Saturday night, Alabama wasn't going to drop because half the voters are going to see is they saw, Alabama won by 26.
USC would drop 40 on that Bama secondary.
I might
agree.
I think it might be worse than what LSU's running out there. There's guys running wide open a lot.
In terms of the product or in terms of the quality, it seems to me that the Ole Miss Missouri case falls maybe a little bit more in line with Ohio State, because I don't know what Ole Miss or Missouri have done that's bad. Criticizing Alabama is fair. There's the competition has not been good, so it's not that like Ole Miss and Missouri have given you a ton besides gaudy statistics on the Ole Miss side to really latch onto. But I don't know. I don't know if there's any reason to panic about Ole Miss or Missouri being somewhat close to what you thought of in the preseason.
Oklahoma should be dinged the same amount Oregon's being dinged.
Mm-hmm.
They look they look way worse than the 15th team in the country right now.
I agree.
Well, so wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of the top 7 are SEC.
Like, who would you take neutral site right now? Clemson or Oklahoma?
Clemson
easily.
Yes.
And would lay not a huge margin, but some margin.
Yes. Oklahoma's got problems.
Would you take Clemson or Missouri?
I don't know, because I feel like I've seen Missouri actually play yet.
That's fair.
Exactly.
Would you take Clemson or Bama today?
I think it'd be a good game.
Taking Alabama.
Yeah, I agree. I think I would probably take Bama, but not sure.
It'd be somewhere between a 1-score game or a huge blowout. I don't know. Clemson, Alabama games. You don't know.
So, but I mean, that's essentially what you're talking about is the power ranking style. Like you go through and say, who's the better
Oregon's
team?
being punished for looking like crap. Oklahoma looks really bad, and they're not punished.
Right.
Great. Fair criticism.
And by the way, Idaho just beat Wyoming, as you guys mentioned on the Reaction pod. I was just listening to on the way to work. And Ashton Genty might be one of the best backs in the country. That's what our guy said the other day, Damian Harris. Like, he was like, I think he's the best back in the country. Like, he might be. And like they did get torched and they didn't look good offensively. Boise State might be the best group of 5 team out there.
I don't think there's any fight about it at this point.
Want to hit this? The Hopster
Maybe
says,
Amon was just great. Malachi Nelson stunk.
Is there any chance Genty actually goes to New York? If he does that mean Boise has a chance to make a run in the playoff?
Yeah. Does it mean they have a chance to make a run in the playoff? No. But if Boise gets to the playoff, and Genty's keep doing what he's doing, and he's the focal point of that team, then hell yeah, he's got a very good chance to get to New York. I don't think he's got much of a chance to win.
He's a bad man.
Wait, Boise's unranked?
Yeah. They're
What the hell is
27th
that?
behind. They're behind Illinois.
So they went and played on the road, like punch for
Had them on
punch
the ropes.
with the top 10 team, and they're unranked.
Well, they lost.
Yeah, this is silly.
Hey, listen. We're not going to spend every poll assassin picking apart 23 to 20. You know, like those things will
fair.
sort themselves out. Okay.
I will say I'm happy that Northern Illinois got ranked.
Just for like
That's
to be
cool
able to
to
have
reward
a historical marker of a historical win, best win in program history. You know, programs like that, they get to say like, oh, we haven't been ranked in the top 25 since blank. What happened in that year? Oh, wow. Jordan Lynch was a Heisman finalist. Oh, wow. We beat Notre Dame as a 29-point underdog. Like those.
Maybe that's why Notre Dame didn't fall too far.
I'm shocked.
Because they lost to a ranked Northern Illinois.
Genty said, did he say he wanted 2,000 yards this year or 2,500? I think he said 2,000.
Yeah.
If he gets 2,000, I think he can get to New York. But for him to actually like have a chance to win it, I think he has to break the record.
I think his touchdown total is going to be gaudy too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what he has to do. It has to be gaudy.
Yeah.
He might be able to do it.
Yeah, I think he can do it 100%.
The Mountain West is bad enough to where I do think we have some real shots there to Boise can coast in a lot of these Mountain West games, is what I'm saying.
But
I think they need to save the Genty bullets, and I hope that he is not I hope they don't run him like crazy in some of these lesser games.
We'll see. I mean,
just for his NFL future.
He can get like 4 touchdowns in some of these, you know, lesser games, especially with the way that he's especially with the way that he gets out and running.
Mike, have you heard from Michael in the chat? I don't know. Like I've got his on IG. I've got him muted, but I see him sometimes. Let me take a look.
Don't
not here today. It's
a rough day for Michael.
We'll do
it was like Richard Johnson when he wasn't in the chat last week after Clemson lost. It's crazy how so many of our tailgaters don't show up the week after their team loses.
Hey man,
seasonal work like week to week. You know, so some weeks are busy, some weeks are not. Right?
Not everybody has you know, the gumption to just show up, win or lose. You know, and that's
did Ryan show up? Like Ryan's a Notre Dame fan.
Oh, I haven't seen Ryan yet this morning either. He's usually telling us how stupid we are.
Yeah.